will have every part of you, even the rebellious spirit you try and keep locked away. You're ours, kitten. Today we are reading Better Run by Alina May. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that works.
There's very few authors we get right.
That's also true.
That should be like our staple or something. The podcast that gets no author's name right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
And forget names and keep plot points, but that's more on me than anything. But
And me, if it's been longer than like 6 months since we've read it, and I only, yeah,
that's true. So you
yeah.
just finished this last night. I had thought
I
you had already
did.
finished it because you had started reading it before me. That's why I went on a reading spree this week, and I'm like, I gotta read all these books that Jenn read so I can be caught up.
I was gonna message you last night because I went and finally updated my story graph. I currently have one, two, three, four, five books technically under currently reading. I've never
Same.
had that many open books.
I have hold on. I have about
Four.
that many too.
Four now that I finished Better Run last night.
I have. And like one of them I'm not even gonna finish, I don't think, because it was not that good. I don't know why my Goodreads isn't loading now. I just had it open. Yeah, I have about 4 or 5.
Yeah. I
Of
don't like
Reverse
giving.
Harem, I have Children of Blood and Bone is still on there. The
Yeah,
Fake
mine
King's
too.
The Fake King's Assassin is still on there, so that's 3. Reverse Harem, Faking, Child and Blood, The Book of Living Secrets. And what's the 5th one? Maybe it is only 4. Oh, Unfated Mates is on there. 5.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have Children of Blood and Bone, City of Ruin, Red, and the Dead Guy Next Door.
Oh, I thought you were really enjoying that.
I love it. It is so funny. It's Lucy Score, which you know I love. What?
And then I have Ruins of Seasoned Souls. I'm still listening to.
Oh, duh. Yeah, I need to. No, I don't know what it is. I'm having such a hard time like sitting down and reading.
I don't know. Anywho, that's not what we're here to talk about. Everybody got a little update on our current reading status. That's not
Yes.
even including the books that aren't on Goodreads because I'm in the middle of rereading Bonds That Tie again. So, okay. So, you finished it last night. What did you think? Yeah, that about sums it up.
I, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't like it.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Like technically it had everything that we're supposed to like in these dark romance books. Like we had a true kidnapping, true like debcon non-con. I don't even know if you call it debcon. Yes, I guess some of the scenes would be debcon, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
but definitely
I would consider it DebCon for sure.
yeah. We had the whole touch her and die thing going on. Yeah, I don't know. This fell very, very flat for me. And I think part of it is you had a lot of redundancy, which I cannot stand. And then I feel like once you got to the point of like why they kidnapped her, like why they were doing all of these things and the reasoning behind it, like it felt very thrown together, I guess. Like it was like it was almost like it was written with like the kidnapping, the hostage situation, the sexual scenes, like all of that was written first. And then it was like, okay, now what's the reason? And she kind of has to like plug it in there through in the middle of the other scenes. And I didn't care for any. I felt like none of the plot lines were actually fully formed. It was just like a mention of this, a mention of this, a mention of this, and then nothing really like came to fruition.
Yes. I felt that same way. As I was reading it, I was like, okay, when are we going to get to the reason why they've kidnapped her? This is going to be so good. I it's not that I had high expectations of it, but because like you said, it hit
Right.
all of those tropes that we've come to love in dark romance. It didn't ever meet the mark. Like it
Yeah.
almost, as amateur writers, we know how hard it is to write. I feel like it was a first draft, to be honest. I felt like it was unfinished
Yeah.
and that it needed to like rework out the kinks. The whole thing with the ex, I think, was stupid. I think the reason why they kidnapped her didn't make any sense. Like I was thinking as I was reading it, I was like, oh, maybe she's the daughter of the pedophile and she never knew. And this is like revenge. And now they're struggling with the concept of, falling in love with her, things, or it's just something really deep and dark and twisted. um, but it didn't really happen. Like, I
Yeah.
still don't even understand why they kidnapped her, to be honest.
Because her face, that guy Jaden, became obsessed with her after he saw her face in that video that Sage sent.
That's what
That's
it says in
literally
the book, but that's not what I'm feeling when I read it.
right. Exactly. I think that was my issue. Like that's what I mean. Like the whole build up was completely flat once you got to like the reasoning and the actual
Mhm.
plot of everything, the meat of everything.
Yeah. So, I didn't love it either, but I didn't hate it. I mean, I'll never read it again, but
Yeah.
you know what really upset me? Is that she gave her fucking ex her house. Like, who the fuck does that?
Yeah. I mean, no, that didn't upset me. That kind of made sense to me. She's just trying to get out of there as quickly as possible. So I mean that I kind of got. I wish I don't Okay, let me ask you something. Do you feel like it fell flat? Part of like granted like the reasoning and like Sage and all of that like I feel like was very messy, very unfinished. But one of the things that I really loved that I feel like could what?
I was just over here mentally thinking, like, who the fuck is Sage?
Oh my god.
Because I went
No.
instantly to Emerald Lakes, and I'm like, Sage isn't in this book. Like, what are you talking?
No, that Sage is not in this book. Oh my god, I love you.
I'm sorry, I
Uh,
didn't mean to interrupt your train of thought. I was trying not to laugh.
no, it's fine. Okay, so like one of the things that I think she did really, really well, and I wish like we could have gone further with it. Like if you had cut the first 50% in half, and then you get to your plot, and then she gets away. Because I loved this setup where like you flash forward 2 weeks, she's legitimately gone. You flash forward 6 months from her point of view, and she's realizing like she's basically permanently fucked up. And I feel like if the story, like if that had been at 50% and the rest of it was seeing how their dynamic shifts, I think it would have been a lot better. So,
Way better.
my question to you is one of the things that we've talked, and I think we've talked about, I don't know if it's been on the podcast or just in conversation, is what we love about loving the villains is that the villains are willing to like sacrifice everything at the altar of the person that they're falling for. And there's none of that with this. Like, they are still, I mean, at the end of the book, they're still kidnappers. They're still abusing her. They're still, it's still Dubcon. So do you feel like it would have been better if you'd had that shift almost like in the ritual where like, yeah, he's a dick, but you get the behind the scenes of he actually does care for her. He actually does love her. And I don't feel like there's any of that in this. Do you think that's part of the reason why it falls flat?
It could be. But I also think, yes, as you've stated this, yes, we know that they are villains because they're kidnappers. They're doing the dub con or the dub non-com. But I really didn't feel that energy from them. And maybe, okay, maybe that is why.
What energy? You didn't feel what energy?
The energy of that they'll destroy, like what you just said, destroy the world and like all the things.
Yeah, they just wanted to hole her up somewhere and have her be their kitten.
I think
And
it's I think it's two-part though. I think that you're right. I think because we didn't get that transition or to see them fully formed after she essentially is like, "Yes, I need to go back. I know that they're here. I need to have them retake me because I can't survive without them," or whatever.
right.
But I also think what did I say? I said 2 parts?
Mm-hmm. That's what you said.
I don't know what my second part was gonna be.
Yeah.
No fucking clue. Maybe it'll come back to me,
Maybe.
but there's a second part to that.
Okay.
Man, I am, like, having really bad brain fog this morning.
That's okay. I mean, it's only 6:30 for you.
Yeah.
Early. It's early. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's part of part of why it fell flat for me was, again, we know I'm the light and fluffy. I need the like feelings, and I can get behind some dark romance. But this was just, you know what? This was dark for the sake of being dark. And that's what bugged me.
I can see that. Because it also comes back to, like, what I said earlier, it's like, I don't feel like they really had a purpose for kidnapping her.
Right.
Like, that didn't and if he'd been stalking her, I feel see, when we do another definition episode, we're gonna talk about the definition of what a fucking stalker is, because that did not indicate at all. I think even with your idea of cutting it 50%, if when she came home with the groceries or whatever, she had this inkling of, "Oh my gosh, I'm being watched again. It's been happening." Like something. I think we needed
Yeah.
foreshadowing too, like to indicate that there was a shift happening in the air or like whatever
Yeah.
new agey term you want to use. I
Well,
think
and
that would have made it helpful. But I agree
well,
with
and
you.
I feel like it would have been, yeah, I just would have liked to see that, kind of like what I talked about with No One Has to Know. Like, I want to see what happens, their relationship develop once they're together.
Mhm.
Like, be able to keep her channel. Like, she should be, like, they should be able to, like, figure out what their dynamic is. Like, they still have this crazy relationship, kinky stuff, which is fine. But she gets to have a life outside of that.
Mhm.
And that's, you know, yeah. It
Yeah.
just,
I
the
think you
only
su
thing I liked was the 6-month jump.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up really well, that it was dark for the sake of dark, and that was it.
Yeah.
It didn't have roots, it didn't yeah, I
Yeah.
really can't I don't really think I liked anything, to be honest. I
Yeah.
just
Agreed.
I couldn't even remember the main female character, not that that's a surprise to anybody, but I literally just read it, like, less than
No,
5 days ago.
Mary Jo was the main female. Sage was the teasing female.
Oh, that's why. I didn't even know her
Yeah.
name either.
Yeah.
I don't Have we read anything by this author before?
I don't think so.
This name looks very familiar to me. I Maybe it only looks familiar because of this book. Okay, yeah. So this explains it. This is her first book. So that
Oh.
gives it a whole new light. So she's trying. She's learning her craft. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. So now it makes sense. Hopefully she gets a better beta reader for the next one cuz it's coming out.
It's
Oh,
out.
it just came out. I hope she has a better beta reader.
I kind of want to read this.
Her next one,
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
is it a reverse harem?
Yes. I
I'm
think.
down. No. Oh, it's not a reverse harem. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She has Better Run written as a reverse harem, and that's something that we need to fix.
Wow.
It's a menage. It is not a
Yeah.
reverse harem. A reverse harem has to be 3 males or more, not 2.
Or 3 partners or more.
Yes. Well, no, a reverse harem is when the main. You're right. Never mind.
I'm like, she'll get there in a second.
We know my brain's not fully on full fuels or spark plugs or whatever today.
That's okay. So yeah, this one is a reverse harem.
It's more than 3 people besides the main female character.
Yeah, you have 3 males with the female.
I'm hesitant because it says book 1. If it ends in cliffhangers, you read it and then you tell me if I need to read it so we can discuss.
That's a good point. I don't want cliffhangers. We just talked about this.
Anywho, I ain't got nothing else. It makes sense now. It's her first book. So all the things that we're talking about. So she's got a good foundation. So as long as she keeps on
Yeah.
writing and gets better beta readers who
Yeah.
are actually going to say, hey, this fell flat, but here's the reason why.
Yeah.
It's going to take her longer to get there.
Yeah. Agreed. So I would be interested in reading this book and kind of seeing how her style develops.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like you said, she has it's like you had all the ingredients for the cake, but you accidentally did it with salt instead of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So like get the sugar in there and it'll be a good cake.
Yeah. And if you happen to listen to this podcast, we have nothing against you. And if you need help, shoot us a email. We'll read it for you and give you feedback.
Yep. Totes my goats.
We're happy to make you successful and support you. I mean, it's for selfish reasons because we want to read good. We want to read good books. But yeah. All right. Darkness.
Oh man, I should probably pull up our new darkness scale. Because I can't like my initial thought was a 5, but it may be a 4.
Hold on. Where do I have it?
Or are you thinking a 3?
I was thinking a 3. It's moderate darkness. And so where's 3? Let's see. Let me make this bigger. At this level, the darkness becomes palpable, delving into themes of obsession, betrayal, or trauma. The romantic relationship is tested to its limits, facing significant obstacles and internal conflicts. Readers may experience a mixture of unease and fascinations. Features deeper exploration of dark themes such as power dynamics, emotional turmoil, or morally ambiguous characters. Some readers may find these themes unsettling. I actually want to drop it down to a 2 now.
No, you can't drop it down to a 2. I was sitting here thinking it needs to be up to a 4.
I love you so much, Jen. Oh my gosh.
Because
Oh.
we have 4 as exploring themes of manipulation, check, coercion, check, profound emotional turmoil, check. The romantic relationship may border on toxic, double check, with characters grappling with their darkest desires and impulses. Explicit content, check. Graphic violence, check. Psychological trauma, check. They
I don't.
literally killed somebody else in front of her after she tried to save her.
Some readers may find these themes unsettling, okay?
Oh my god. It's a 4 for me.
I mean, even if you look at 2, okay. Introducing. Okay, so it's not a 2. I'm going to go with a 3. So you have a 4, I have a 3.
I'd be okay with 3.5. Just because they didn't go into like explicit detail when they did all the things. But I mean, the trauma.
Yeah, but was
That
she
she
really
went.
traumatized?
Of course, she was traumatized.
She was getting off on all of it.
Just because she was getting off doesn't mean she wasn't traumatized.
I mean, I just don't see, and maybe this is part of, Alina developing her writing style. I don't see the drama on the page. I think we're filling in the gaps for her, but it's not on the page.
I mean, she can't re-enter society like a normal person.
No, she can re-enter society. She just can't be without them.
Okay, well, that's fair. She did start her cooking channel and everything again. Okay, fine. I'll.
No, you can keep your 4. I'll keep my 3.
No. I think
This season, are we going to do it to where we have to match? We have to
it would
debate
be
till we.
it would be fun.
Okay. We have to convince each other. So we're the same. Were we the same on Shadow
Yeah.
Breed? I think we were.
Yeah, we were the same
Okay.
on Shadow Bread. Yeah, I'll secede. Yeah, secede to your 3. Because I think you're right. I do feel like it's me filling in the gaps. Because I take things so literal.
This is exciting. I like that we have this new level on the podcast for this season.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's going to be hard.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Okay.
But it'll be fun.
All right. Spicy. I feel like I'm on a pattern today.
The only scene that and again, I think it was because it was so redundant. The only scene that I really, really liked was the Shibari scene, which should shock no one. And you have no idea what I'm talking about.
That's the rope scene, right? Where he's got her hanging.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're thinking a 2 for spicy?
You can't do a 2 for spicy? Okay. It's literally non-con.
Dub
and
non-com.
Mm.
It was all dub non-com.
She was roofied. I think that
but
scene
they didn't. Did they do anything to her when she was roofied?
Yeah.
He tied her up.
And had sex with her.
I don't really remember.
I would say it's a 4. Because that's the like 70% of the book is sex. Explicit sex.
I don't even remember.
They fucked her with a oh my god, I'm doing the motion. Freaking onion powder. Like an onion powder bottle.
Oh yeah. Okay, I concede to your 4. I don't remember.
Okay. And then what are we rating this?
2 or 3?
2.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot all that stuff. It really did not stick with me.
I mean, it took me almost a month to read like 200 pages, so.
Yeah, that says something.
Granted, I'm also struggling reading physical books. So that's like, I'm also struggling to read one of my favorite authors currently. So I really shouldn't hold a whole lot of weight.
Okay.
All right.
I'm done.
Anything else?
Are you done? No. I just blocked everything out.
It's okay. All right, you all read Better Run by Alina May. Will you read her next book that's coming out? We would love to hear from you. Where does the darkness rate with you? Tag us on Instagram at Bones of the Story.
Thank you for joining us on the journey into the shadows of love, where dark romance stories come to light.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bones of the Story as much as we did. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us.
And to stay updated on all things dark romance, follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
We'd also love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, ideas, or even your own dark romance stories with us. Drop us a line at bonesofthestory@gmail.com.
Remember, our next tantalizing episode is just around the corner, so keep your hearts open and your senses sharp.
Until then, embrace the darkness and let the stories continue to stir your deepest desires.
This is Misty
and Jenn,
signing off from Bones of the Story.